Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Working in Hockey podcast. I'm your host, Nick Bowens, and today I'm pleased to be joined by Logan Cuvo, currently the founder of Best Damn Tape. You see it on the hat there, one of my favorite brands to follow on social media lately, disrupting a outdated industry, we will say, within the game of hockey. Logan, great to chat here today. How you doing, man?
Nick, thank you for having me. I can't say how appreciative I am of this. I've been seeing what you're doing, and like I said, I reached out and I love it. It's awesome. You've been growing so much on Instagram and killing it. It's also great what you're doing for the community. I'm so happy to be here.
Awesome. Well, appreciate the kind words. And like I say, super excited to chat about your journey, about your brand here, learn a little bit more behind the scenes about what you guys are up to at Best Damn Tape. So take me all the way back here, Logan. When did this idea come to you? When did you start the business? Give people a bit of background there.
Yeah. So I was a hockey player my whole life. Since I was 4 years old, I had played. I was drafted in the OHL when I was younger. In the NOL growing up, I played in the NCDC for just a quick little stint. But right after that, I kind of realized that I was more than just a hockey player. I was more than just another name on a sheet, and I wanted to still be involved in hockey. It's brought me everything since I was a young kid, from education to friends to the most fond memories I could think of. Um, and my dad's an entrepreneur, like I was telling you before, and he owns Never Made It Pro Stock. And he had a guy who'd sold him tape just like on the side, never really took it too seriously, just got it for his buddies and just because they liked it. And I had used that tape since I was 12 or 13, ever since he opened up the store. And every single one of my buddies was like, yo, like, let me use your tape. Like, Kuvo, give me your clear. Kuvo, give me your clear. And I knew I knew there was something there. And I came back and my dad had the name for a little bit. And we figured out how to get a logo created and made the logo. And we kind of fell in love with it. That was, I started building it in like November of 22 when I was about to leave juniors. And then in May of 23, we got the first shipment of 11,000 rolls of tape, and we kind of took off full speed from there. And I wasn't seasoned in business, in the business category. I just kind of didn't even aim. I just shot. And it's crazy. If you would have told me 2 years ago that I'd be here, I'd call you crazy. It's pretty
No,
nuts,
that's
but
that's
it's awesome.
awesome to hear, and great to hear that you kind of have that person to be able to talk to and learn from and experience this with in your dad there. That makes it awesome. But I think definitely kudos and respects to you for just starting something and trying it. That's the best way to learn, is on the fly, on the spot. So that's
Yep.
awesome to hear. I wanted to talk a little bit about just the simplicity and the name in general. I mean, we've each got our hats on here. Working in hockey, I went with something brain dead simple. You see the three words, you know exactly what it is. If Hockey Jobs domain was available online, I probably would have went with that. I'm a big believer in just tell people exactly what it is, right? If you have the best names in the world and it explains what you're doing and who you are, you don't have to go into any further depth. Best damn tape. Pretty self-explanatory. How'd you guys come up with that? Where did it come from? And how much has that simplicity or name helped your branding, do you think?
Yeah, that's such a great question, especially with the branding and everything like that. I felt like it's played heavy into our branding with the real simple designs and keeping it kind of all black and white. We've really focused on the black and white color scheme, and there's everyone knows that the other big competitors, they like to make things pop, and it's out there. And I kind of wanted to change it up and be like that new cooler brand that's coming up, and it's the next big thing. And especially I think with it having the N off the end of it, I think you can look at it and you laugh a little bit. But also for the severity of kids or anyone else, I feel like it just takes away from it a little bit. And yeah, I genuinely think I know bias is a thing, but I think it's the best damn tape, and I always will. And it's definitely, it's just so funny to think about creating that name with my dad, and I'll never forget it. It's super funny.
Yeah, no, I think it's awesome. And like I said, I'm a sucker for simplicity. I like telling people exactly what they're gonna get, exactly what's going on there. So I like the name a lot. Talk to me about growing the brand. You said a little over 2 years now. You've been hard at this, but I know you're still in school today. So talk to me about how you're able to balance your time, leverage other people. I know you have a graphic designer helping you out as well. Talk to me about how you're able to leverage and balance time between school, work, and continue to grow this business.
Yeah, it's definitely not an easy task. It may seem easy on the surface, like we were saying, but it's definitely 12, 13 hour days, 5 days a week. I like to allocate a little bit of time for myself on the weekends. But yeah, especially with school, it throws a lot of different things into it. I'm a part of I'm an accelerator program right now for the company. So had so many connections there, and we're in the process of trying to raise a little bit of funds for the company as well. So just trying to balance a bunch of things out in that whole category, and it's really interesting. Especially I'm in 18 college credits too, so it's definitely a grind on that end as well. But I love it. I feel like that's the biggest thing, and what I tell everyone is if you're going to do something, make sure you can see yourself doing it for a pretty damn long time because it takes a while to develop a brand, to develop a story that people love. Um, and yeah, I think that definitely doing something that you love is something that takes away because I'm an entrepreneurship major as well in school too. So it's double. I love both things, and it's such a joy to learn every day, even if it's a company or school.
Yeah, no, absolutely, that makes sense, and I think it's such an interesting conversation with entrepreneurs and people who start businesses is finding the balance of how do you spend your time, where do you allocate your time within the business, right? I've seen companies that I was at in the first couple people, and leaders were involved day to day in every social media post that went out and every support ticket created, and sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes it's a bad thing if they're spending too much time there and not on the bigger picture, but there's a lot of value to having a leader involved in those little things, those little touch points with customers to, better understand what their actual customers are thinking, feeling, experiencing. So there's a lot of benefit to being involved in the minutia of a business, but also takes away from some of the strategic time and efforts and stuff there. So how do you, Logan, balance your time, decide where you allocate your time, what's going into sales efforts versus commenting, responding to people on Instagram versus checking out the back end of the website? How do you determine where you allocate your time and when?
Yeah, that's definitely a pretty interesting question, especially in my book. There's not a lot that I don't do in the hands of the company. I mean, I'm blessed that my mom, when I'm at school, she packs up our orders and is able to do that for me. But everything other than that, other than the graphic design, is all on me. Back end of the website, the sales pipeline, and I mean, selfishly, I love sales. I love selling things. I get the same feeling when I scored a goal. I get the same feeling from making a sale now. So it's definitely like the goes hand in hand, and I really do enjoy that part of it. And it's a lot of cold texting, cold emailing, and it's day after day. You got to follow up. You got to keep following up, and you got to keep trying to foster those relationships, especially with a product like a commodity good such as tape. It's something that you need to sell the people behind the brand first. And I feel like developing a company culture will come as we start to grow and scale. And I want to be able to pick the correct people who I want to bring in, just because I feel like relationships are so big, especially in this field that I'm in with the accessory market and trying to break into that. So definitely want to be able to bring people that can connect with others and network well too. I think consistency is a big thing in that, but finding the correct time to push the different places definitely is hard sometimes. Weeding through that, I try to line out my weeks before they start, as best as I can to try and do that. If it's in my reminders app is my best friend.
No doubt, no doubt. I feel that definitely, and I had an interesting quote somebody told me once of like every entrepreneur has five buttons to push. The ones that push them at the right time or in the right order are the ones that succeed. And I don't think anybody knows when is the exact time to push button three versus push button five. The
Nope.
better that you can understand your business, your customer, everything, you kind of piece together when you need to do those different things. And it sounds like that's where you're at right now, getting able to touch all these different elements of your business, do every little thing that goes in the doors or out the doors for Best Damn Tape. That's awesome to hear. Talk to me a little bit about, is there one area of the business that you didn't know very well that you feel like you've really been able to learn and hone in on over these past couple of years here?
Yeah. Honestly, I would say the whole algorithm of marketing and also the website. I feel like everything with your website is so big and so it's extremely powerful. And I've just started to learn that a little bit more now this year with the website and how important your SEO is and how important your authority score is compared to everyone else. And it's really, really crazy. And I never would have thought I'd be a technical nerd like that and going through my the code of my website to try and figure out what I can do, what's better, and it's awesome. It really is beneficial for the company too, and like the algorithm of marketing, I've that's just come over time with just experience from starting. Like you can find out what places and what times or what people are gonna like your stuff the most, and you got to push it out to them and keep doing that on a consistent basis. And I know we are pretty consistent with posting, but like I said, I'd like to post multiple times a day, but it's just it's hard to produce that content, especially as a college kid. So part of this next round of trying to raise money, a little bit of money for the company is going to be pushed towards that a little bit.
Totally. No, that makes sense. And as you touch on kind of raising some money, focusing on sales and marketing there without spilling all the secrets, what does a sales cycle or a sales process look like for you today, Logan? You've got a ton of different teams, programs, schools, businesses, etc., using Best Damn Tape. How do you go about approaching a new school, reaching out to a new player to use your product, whatever it may be? What's that sort of sales process look like for yourself?
Yeah, and to start, I think everyone who's listening to this is pretty familiar with hockey players, and we know how hockey players are. Is they're very cut and dry about what they want. They use one thing and they're never going to change it, and it's hard. So getting it into if we're cold calling, cold emailing, cold texting, and by I say we, I mean me. Just texting and trying to get our product in front of the faces of the best people possible and get feedback. If it's feedback, it's great. But if it's a sale, it's even better. So we even if it's 3 to 4 samples that we have to send these guys, we have no problem doing that. And that's really been a big part of our marketing cost is just getting our product in front of these equipment managers and these big teams because they're bigger orders. You can get the stuff from the online, but there's nothing compared to a nice big team order that you can pull in. Um, and those are the ones that really keep you going and get you excited. And it's so fun, especially with our Instagram. I think we've played into kind of who we work with, and we posted it kind of like what Prime did. That was kind of what I kind of based it off of. Obviously, they're paying them millions of dollars to promote them on their end as well, but we thought using their name and likeliness would be good for us, and it's honestly been so cool to see how we've grown, and especially the collaborations. People love to see them, and it's awesome.
Yeah, no, it's cool to see those, and I think people get value out of seeing a team in Texas, a team in Boston, a team in wherever, right? All these different places using this tape. It's cool to see that kind of spread, but also even if 1 in every 10 that you post ends up sharing it to their story or collaborating on their feed, it makes it worthwhile, and you're touching so many new eyeballs. So yes, the strategy
You're
with
absolutely right.
collaborating and posting those collaborations and new teams 100%. That's the way to go, and that's the way to grow right now. What Take me all the way back here, Logan. When did you know you wanted to get into entrepreneurship? Was it when you were playing hockey, playing juniors, playing in school? Was it again fostered by your dad? Is that something you always looked up to him and wanted to get into it, or was this just something a couple years ago you said, you know what, I'll give this a shot?
Yeah, I honestly felt like I said before, I lost a lot of love for the game, especially towards my ending of juniors. There was a lot of love lost on that end. Just went through some interesting experiences, and I didn't really want to be just another slab of meat getting passed down the line. And I came back home, and my dad was like, "Hey, if you want to get this started, you can do it if you want." And I was like, you know what? Sure. And I took it on. I finished. I was playing 18U that year. I went back and played at home for the 18U Ohio AAA Blue Jackets, and was really just building that company the whole entire time of that season. And I was committed to play West Virginia Division I club. Um, where I go to school, but it was just the company. I had so much on my hands, and it's crazy. I can't believe where it's developed into, and I'm so excited to see where it keeps going. But yeah, it definitely came from me just not enjoying the game anymore, and it's brought so much love back for the game. So I really do enjoy it.
Yeah, yeah. And then your entrepreneurship major, you're currently in school, like we touched on. What was the decision to go A, to school there for it, B, for that program? You kind of got this business on the go right now. So what led to the decision of going to school to pursue something that some would say you're already doing hands on, versus going to school to get that learning and then starting it?
Yeah, I it definitely sparked my mind like automatically when I was like, all right, I'm gonna go to college, and I was like, what do I want to do? Like, I'm not sure if I want to be an accounting major or a finance major, and I didn't want to be a general business major. So I thought that being an entrepreneur, you kind of get to receive all facets of the business world. You kind of have to juggle everything at once. And I felt like it gives you a well rounded approach, especially to sales, to marketing, to supply chain, all across the board. And for the degree that I'm in right now, you're at least taking one of every of those classes I just said, um, at least. So it's definitely interesting to see the versatility, and I felt like that was the biggest thing for me, and especially I'm blessed we get in-state tuition through entrepreneurship majors as well at from Ohio, so another no-brainer choice for there. But it was between there or University of Dayton, and I decided to come here, and it's been unbelievable.
Awesome. Awesome. No, that's always cool to hear kind of the decision process going into that. And again, like we said before,
Yeah.
tough to balance school and the business. So awesome to hear there. I believe I saw, Logan, that all of your products are made 100% in the US. Talk to me about the importance of that for you, what led to that decision, and how you're able to, spin that into some of your sales and marketing pitches as well.
Yeah, it's really crucial, especially got changing times right now. We really, really do. There's a lot of things going on, and it's going to start costing a lot of people money to get things from not from the United States. It's pretty crazy, and a lot of people are really starting to lean into things made here and made by us, and it's so much easier for supply chain on top of that, on top of everything. It's so much easier on your stress, on your mental. You're not worrying about something crossing the ocean and crashing into waves and having the ports closed down and you have to wait another 5 days while it circles outside of New York. I'm not saying from experience, but it was from experience. um, and yeah, like it's so much easier for supply chain. Like we have our wax is made by a beekeeper in Kansas. He's amazing, and does all of our wax and sends that up here. And our cloth and hopefully medical and cloth tape or medical and sports tape are going to be made up in Boston. So we're really really looking forward to having that. And yeah, that was a necessary switch that we've definitely been trying to weasel our way into. And then eventually the goal is to make it in house or merge or have multiple people who can make it for us. We just have to, once we get to that stage, then we can decide what we do from there. But definitely super, super important for supply chain, especially.
Yeah, no, that's super cool to hear kind of the story and how that evolved and switched, because I think the supply chain, people have heard a lot about it the last couple of years, like you said, with ports, pirates, everything in between,
Oh my
pandemics. They
god,
all start with
pirates!
P's,
Yes.
everything. Yeah, but I think it used to be almost like a marketing ploy or tactic when people would say like locally grown or 100% American, 100% Canadian, all those things. Now we care about that stuff a lot, and it matters a lot to the business, like you said, for supply chain, for pricing, for just turnaround times, and reliability. So super cool to hear that there. And you touched on the wax. I meant to mention it earlier when I was on my simplicity rant. I love the branding that you guys have on the wax. For anybody who hasn't seen it, we'll throw it right here. Nolan, video editor, he's going to work on that. It's just the Best Damn Tape logo with an X over tape, and it says wax below. I love that. I think it's perfectly simple, and it keeps your branding consistent and everything there. So not even a question there. I just wanted to circle back on the wax because I think
I
that's
appreciate that.
awesome. You touched on kind of the medical tape and other items there that you guys are looking to get into a little bit more. How much product expansion do you see? How much do you think about that versus, just honing in on the couple things you guys have right now?
Oh, Nick, that's a question that has been on my mind for a very, very, very long time. I really do want to focus in and get a little bit more market share in the hockey space. I'd say building in the hockey space gives us that basis of like, okay, we are a credible user in this hockey space, and I think it's a couple more years before that can be said. And then I think we can make that jump, that big push towards, hey, there's no one making sports tapes for NFL guys. Like they're just buying them from Amazon in bulk. If you're going to teams who need a 3 pallets of sports tape across any team, any level, like it's unmatched. It's just all you can do is think about that. And even when you go into medical tape and again, medical tape you could sell to all athletic trainers, and same with the sports tape as well. That goes to all athletic trainers in hockey, across all sports, and that's where it opens up a lot of doors. And it's very interesting to think about your market share goes from, or I'm sorry, your possible market goes from 10, 15 million in the hockey space to expanding to almost 100 million in the whole across all sports tapes and all medical tapes and all that. So it's very, very crazy to wrap your head around and see what you want to pursue more. But I definitely think we're on the right track in the hockey space, and we just got to keep pushing.
No, I like that answer. It sounds like Best Damn Tape going to be lots of continued expansion and growth there, but Best Damn Sticks, Best Damn Skates going to be a couple years down the line, huh?
Yeah, that'll be we're gonna I think we'll honestly I think we're gonna push towards accessories in the near future. We're looking to try and make something pretty innovative in the toiletry bag space. See what we can do. It's a little different there, and that's in the works right now too. So I'm real excited to see what we can do, and it's crazy. It's super exciting times for the company, and we're growing on social media, and we're growing in the market share too. So there's not anything more you could ask for. I'm eternally grateful.
Absolutely. No, I think, like I said off the hop, Logan, I'm impressed by the growth that you guys have had, the business that you guys have built, and like I say, I always have a soft spot for entrepreneurs, especially ones still in school or working full time jobs, or people who are able to carve out time out of their already busy lives to be able to chase their passions and build something. So, been awesome to chat with you here. I always wrap things up with some advice. Give me a little bit of career advice or entrepreneurial advice that you picked up along the way, Logan?
Yeah. There's a lot of things I could sit on here and talk about, but like I was saying before, make sure you're doing something you love. Make sure you're around people you love and building it with something you love, and it's going to make your life a whole lot better and your quality of life a whole lot happier, even if you're working on it 13 hours a day. It's going to make your quality of life much better. And the biggest thing to building something and building a brand and a story is to stay consistent and and to keep going every day. I feel like many people, like we were saying, is you get that one sale and you're like, oh my gosh, I got revenue, and you think it's Steve Jobs, but you need to, that's the luck of the draw, and you need to keep going, and you need to keep your head down, and you need to keep pushing, and it's as simple as that. And I appreciate that. I always like saying that.
Nope, totally agree. It's all about the consistency. It's all about getting as many reps at bats to set yourself up for as many wins as possible there. Logan, tell the people where they can find Best Damn Tape, where they can find you if they have any questions or want to pick your brain any further.
Yeah. Follow us on Instagram, Best Ham Tape. Please feel free to shoot me an email, logan@besthamtape.com. And if you'd like to buy some tape as well, www.besthamtape.com is our website. And We are in all of the chillers in Columbus, Ohio, and in some different pro shops across Michigan, Minnesota, and Massachusetts.
Perfect. And many more to come soon. Many more to
Yes,
come soon.
that's the goal.
Perfect. Perfect. Logan, thanks again for the time here, guys. Be sure to like and subscribe. We'll see you next week for another episode of the Working in Hockey podcast.